Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Thank you all for coming. This is the regular hybrid meeting of the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Commission for November 12th, 2025. We're calling it to order at 7:01. First order of business is to approve the minutes from October 8th, 2025. The minutes were in the packet that you all received. Anyone want to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Fred. Second?
Second.
Vicky, thank you. Any additions, subtractions, revisions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Aurel abstains because she wasn't at the last hearing. Okay. So before we get into the rest of the agenda tonight, Kate Bednaz, our in the wetlands official, is not here presently because she's feeling a little under the weather, and she didn't want to risk infecting anyone else, but she is available on that big screen up there, so she will be participating remotely. And I think we have some other people up there as well. So I'll go right to the agenda. It's the first is a permit request, 28 Copper Hill, Cody Roy, permit request to install a 192 square foot prefabricated shed on crushed stone within a regulated area. Is there anyone from the applicant here who wants to address that? Would you come on up? Step up to the podium, identify yourself, and give us your address.
I'm William Cody Roy, 28 Copper Hill Road. Basically, all we want to do is at the end of our driveway, we want to put a prefab shed up. It's going to be with a stone foundation. As far as I'm aware, there's going to be no real disturbance to the soil. I think it's pretty straightforward.
And have you, I know you submitted a permit application. Have you talked to Kate about this, our wetlands official?
I was here a couple of times. I don't know if I did not talk to Kate directly.
Okay. Kate, have you reviewed the application? Is there anything you want to tell us about it?
Well, because sorry, there's an echo here. The first thing is it's in a maintained lawn area where he wants to put the shed, so it's a pretty straightforward application in terms of potential wetland impacts and anything of that nature. However, it is mapped as a wetland, so at this meeting, the application can only be received, and at the next meeting, a determination can be made, or sorry, a permit can be issued, and we have not spoken yet, because we do have to go to the next meeting, and we've got some other things that have been keeping us busy. But I will be in contact with you very shortly, Cody, and if nothing else, I think on your property, I just need to stop by real quick, drive into your driveway, see that location. You've given great photographs of the application. Thank you very much. That's appreciated. And it looks very straightforward.
Okay, so the procedure would be we're accepting your permit application tonight.
Okay.
We have to continue it to the next regularly scheduled meeting. Unless the commission feels we should set it for a public hearing, we wait to see if anyone from the public requests a public hearing. So it doesn't seem like the type of thing we would automatically, as a commission, set a public hearing for unless someone else has a different take on it. No? Okay, so we'll continue this. I'll take a motion to continue this to the next hearing.
I make a motion to continue this to the next meeting. Second.
Second by Aurel. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So unless we get a request from the public to make this a public hearing, we'll see you at the next hearing. Kate will have an opportunity to review the application with you, and we should be in a position to approve or disapprove it at the next hearing.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. See you in a month. All right. We've got two show cause hearings under item number 4. The first is 249 Silver Street, Nicholsburg, conducting a regulated activity without a valid inland wetlands watercourse permit. Is anyone here, landowner, anyone?
Really?
I'm here to represent the landowner, so we've been working well together.
Okay.
Tonight, they have school, so they're not able to get to the meeting tonight, but it's been pretty straightforward. I don't know if you're able to pull up on the screen the photographs that come with this enforcement order. I think they're kind of helpful to know what's going on out there. But essentially, 40, I think it was 42 trees were taken down. Let's see, they kind of did the exact number just today. Number of trees, sorry, 23, much better. 23 trees were taken down. A lot of them are dead, dying. Not sure if you guys are looking at the photographs yet. Can you see those up on the screen? Or?
Yes. Yes.
And they're in our packet as well, thank you.
Perfect, sure. So when you look at the photographs, that's looking at it from the opposite side of the pond, so the house that you're seeing is subject property. And if you look all along that right-hand side, the trees that were removed, there are two purposes. The purpose for the removal of the trees, there was a lot of dead trees out there. There was a lot of invasive species, especially oriental bittersweet, which is choking out the trees. And also the new owners who are just coming into the state, we welcome them. They wanted to see if they get a little better view of the lake, or the pond. It's not really a lake. This pond is shared with 3 property owners, and the property owner across the way where the photographs are being taken has quite an extensive lawn area along the edge of that pond. So I could understand why these new owners would think that this is something that they could do. So I've been out there with the owners, Barry, and he's been kind of coordinating with me on all this, and he's been wonderful to work with. He essentially, with these photographs, no stumps had been removed. The wood was all stockpiled in one location to be removed at a later date, which it has been removed already, meaning the timber. There is a large pile of brush that they have to burn a permit. They're just waiting for the time when they can burn it. They're not taking it off site. They have a gentleman working with them. His name is Mark Lavoy, and he does a lot of mitigation work. And so he's working with them to try to eliminate the invasive species in this area because they have quite a few. As part of that, I've been working with them to create a mitigation plan, which is pretty well situated. They just recently submitted that and ahead of schedule, because if you look at the enforcement order, that wasn't due until December. So at this point, they have gone down and put some annual ride down immediately after my site visit. No work has continued besides, cleaning things up so that they can get seed to germinate. So the stubs have been cut down, not pulled up. The area has germinated with an annual rye, and like I said, the logs have been removed, so then that way seed can be put under the logs, and that's the same intention for that burn pile, is to get that removed so that seed can be applied. They understand that the rye is just an annual, so there is a, as part of the mitigation plan, they are going to be, let's see, this is something that you don't have in front of you yet, but they'll be installing a Northeast native wildflower pollinator seed mix, and they'll also be planting a menagerie of shrubs and herbaceous flowers to go down by the water and to go into the wetland areas. So there are a couple little wetland pockets. No fill is proposed or has been conducted on the property. So all wetland soils remain intact. It's just the vegetation, so revegetating the area. And so far they have a very good plan moving forward for trying to maintain some kind of vista of the pond that, they have partial ownership of, while at the same time revegetating it in a way that will still maintain the functions and the values of the wetlands and the other resource areas nearby, like the pond.
Commission have any questions for Kate or the applicant through Kate? Okay, so Kate, it looks in the packet you issued an enforcement order on November 5th. It essentially requires the owner to cease activities other than the erosion control you described, stabilization, and then a mitigation plan, which is pretty specific about stabilization. So the question for the commission is, do we have a motion to uphold the November 5th enforcement order?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Fred. Thanks, Arel. So, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? So, Kate, I guess you'll stay on top of the, make sure they're complying with the enforcement order and report back to us at the next meeting?
I will.
Thank you. All right, show cause hearing B, 142R and 186 K Street, M. Real, Cara Scatina Lease, I'm sorry, I probably butchered that, LLC, conducting a regulated activity without a valid inland wetlands permit. This was on the, we had a show cause hearing at the last meeting where the enforcement order was put in place. We're back because there's been a lot of activity since, not only by our staff, but apparently there's been some involvement of the state of Connecticut Deep people who are now apprised of the situation and will be, I gather, assisting Kate in the enforcement of orders. So, Mr. Real, I know you wanted to address the committee on the show cause hearing. Do you want to come up and tell us what you want to tell us?
So I think there was two items, I think, that Kate was concerned about that I did other than just erosion control method. One was the concrete, the structure, where we have the 8-inch pipe that I mentioned to you guys last time come in to control the flow, to not allow more than 8 inches, the 8-inch pipe of flow. So I'd like to address that first. That's, I would say, most critical. So this video here that you see, this is the backside. So this is the outlet pipe, the black pipe, and the concrete structure. So you see the line about a foot up from where the water is, that line, right in the middle of that black pipe, by chance? You see that? So that was the water line. That's where the water came up to during that 2.5-inch rain. And so the water level came up to that. The 8-inch pipe was working, taking the water. So it didn't allow more than what that 8-inch pipe would emit. So what that does is it allows the erosion control to not either get blown out. So now here's the other side. The 8-inch pipe is below that water. So the video will shift inside the concrete structure, and you'll see where the water is coming through. So that's the 8-inch pipe where the water is coming through, allowing the water to pass, but not to the extent where you're going to have a tremendous amount of water that would take out erosion control. So that structure with that pipe was designed to keep the water flow at a minimum, so we didn't have a problem with water blowing out erosion control methods or anything of that. So that's the purpose of that. It wasn't to it was for erosion control methods. So it wasn't to sort of negate what was the enforcement order.
You had a question, Fred?
Who did the design on this?
The design,
Yeah,
I mean, I did the design along with other people that I have.
so it hasn't been reviewed today by town engineer or DEP?
But no, it hasn't been reviewed.
Is it going to be?
Yep.
By,
I'll have it, it'll be stamped by an engineer to state that it's built correctly.
Fred, my understanding is that DEEP, under their statutory powers, is going to inspect the site. I would imagine then all plans are going to be reviewed by our town engineer, Mr. Clark, and of course, Kate.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at on this one.
okay.
Nick, you had a question, I think?
Oh.
I'm sorry.
No, I guess I'm just confused. I thought we had like, wasn't there like a stop?
Yeah, there was an enforcement order issued.
Went
It was
ahead.
a cease and desist with exceptions, the exceptions being the typical, you'll stabilize,
Yeah,
you put
stabilize,
erosion
right.
control.
Erosion control,
Yeah, I mean,
And I think where the deviation, Mr. Real, comes in is you went beyond the restrictions in the first order, which now is requiring a new analysis, and it's also requiring, I don't know what DEEP's going to do with it, but it's, now DEEP is going to come in and take a look at it. It somewhat goes out of our hands at that point. I'm sorry, Vicki, I may have stepped on your toes. You had a question.
I thought we were waiting because he was unable to get a site plan together because of the federal government shut down this whole thing. But then it says that you were supposed to, Kate said you were supposed to cease all on-site activity, but when she visited twice at the end of October, you were still conducting regulated activities. So I don't know if that one was, we talked about that with the 8-inch pipe that with 2.5 inches of rain.
Right.
But what other activities were you conducting that you were supposed to have ceased?
So, so this, just to be clear, the last time I was here, I believe, if timeline's right, this was completed at the time. I was in front of you guys a month ago. At this pond site, if you will, there was nothing else done. The only thing we did was seeding and
You guys
maybe some more.
Did you pour more concrete or what happened?
No, we did, we did not. So I stood in front of you guys last week.
Yeah.
You said you stockpiled fill on site,
Yeah.
creation of dam.
Yeah, that's something different I was going to get to. But I'm just talking about this area and everything that had to do with this area. Right now. So we're talking about the, call it, pond area, if you will, or access area, or both. So nothing was done there since. There, a couple weeks ago roughly, don't hold me to the exact time, I gave Kate a call and I asked her, I said, I have process that was bought and I had to take it. They had to get it out of there. They wouldn't hold it. They only held it for almost 2 months for me. So I said, I need to put it somewhere. I don't want to spread it. I want to get it in a contained area. And we had that, because I called her because obviously the enforcement order was in place. And there are some things, if you read the enforcement order, you can do things. It's just, you want to be outside of a regulated area and such. So I brought it up to Kate and she said, the area that you put it needs to be cleared by a soil scientist to make sure you don't put the fill in a wetland. So obviously, I didn't want to take any chances, and I only knew of one particular area that I knew wasn't a wetland, because I was with the soil scientist that delineated the property when we did that 5-acre lot roughly a year and a half ago. We drove Fred was driving his car and me, along with Kate, I think, right through this area when we parked. It was hard and it was in a field. It was the driest, most best spot possible, where I knew there was not a question that there wasn't a wetland there. And I made a small area, cleared the topsoil, put erosion control methods around it, make sure there was no erosion problem. And they delivered the process there that I had bought, that I obviously didn't have anywhere else to put it.
But you had spoken to Kate and Abby the day before, and they told you specifically, do not put the process there.
No, I didn't the day before. That process was, I spoke to Kate, and then that process got delivered, and then I received a phone call from, if I'm correct, I received a phone call from Abby, not Kate. And that wasn't prior, that was, call it during, in the middle.
All right, was there go ahead, Kate, I'm sorry.
Just there's a lot of Kate going on, so I thought I might clarify.
Please do.
Just be nice, so, Matt did give a call the night before, or the evening before, to see, he got the phone call, needed to bring the process somewhere. So in terms of, checking in, he was very good to check in. What that discussion is to bring something on site at this point. Clearly the commission doesn't want anything else happening, but if, he really felt it needed to happen, the steps that would need to be taken were to ensure that it wasn't going to be put in a location that was an existing wetland, and that would need to be determined by a soil scientist, that an RFR could be submitted, that would then go with that determination from the soil scientist and then designate the location of that material. And because of the infancy of this site and the condition of the site in terms of the enforcement order, also giving us some kind of blurb about how this material would be utilized or not utilized on the site, like what is the purpose of this material coming to the site. To get a soil scientist out there the next day, unless you are really closely connected with someone, it's definitely going to be difficult. But at the same time, the steps that were in place that we talked about, within a week, if you have someone who can stop out and just look at that, whatever size area was needed, it definitely was something that could have been done. So I think I was talking about later, there was some miscommunication, I believe, in regards to the RFR process on this. But it also looked like maybe there just wasn't time to deal with that, with what you had going on the other end. So that's how that came about. And then from that point, in terms of how we set up our arrangement with the town, in terms of me working as a consultant, having a lot of things going through Abby at this point, just because things are getting a lot more cumbersome, and then she can filter them to me as necessary. So that's where Abby has been stepped in to do some more communications on this site.
Thanks, Kate.
And we have a soil scientist going out there tomorrow to delineate, and they will delineate that whole area also.
Was there something else you wanted to address before, or is this everything you need to address?
I think so, unless Kate wanted me to address something else. The two items that I thought you guys wanted me to address was the concrete, which I wanted to express to you guys it was done for erosion control measures. It wasn't, it might not be your standard, but if we get let's say we get a heavy rain, I understand enough about it where if we have a great amount of water, 2, 3, 4 inch rain quick, the last thing I want to do is come up to you guys and say, hey, these erosion control methods that we used got blown over by the amount of water. So this sort of mitigates that, for that not to happen. It allows some storage, and it allows a good chunk of water to keep flowing. but also eliminates a possible major problem, which I don't want to come up to you guys and say, we have. So the two items, I guess, would be the concrete and the process, unless Kate had something else she thought I should address.
No, those are the two things that came up between the first enforcement and then additional actions after the enforcement order had a show cause hearing and had been upheld. I think, for the commission tonight, maybe, Matt, it would be helpful, I've had conversations with Janet Stone, I believe that she would be representing you. Oh, sorry, Janet Brooks.
Janet Brooks.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
It's wrong. So my understanding is that she'll be representing you going through this process. So I think if the commission's in this point in the meeting, it might be nice for you to update them on how you're going to be coming to the next meeting and what the efforts you're doing between now and then to rectify the issues and move forward.
So, as you guys know, probably already, Janet Brooks will be representing me. We have a team, we're putting together a soil scientist. He will be coming out tomorrow. That's David Lord. He'll be, basically, he will delineate the wetlands, come up with whatever he needs to for reports. We will have the engineer also look at the structure, make sure we have an engineer sign off on the structure, make sure we have the engineering for the sizing of the pipe, and the amount of flow that obviously the flow to size the pipe, and erosion control methods also at that time. I mean, I think, is that sort of covered for the most part? And then we'll obviously submit an application once we get all that paperwork situated.
So the plan would be eventually, once all of this work is done, for you to submit an application,
That's correct.
a permit application.
Yes.
Okay. And, and for those people who are here, I know there's a lot of public interest. This is a show cause hearing. It's not a public hearing, but very typically, and I'm sure Attorney Brooks would do this, the applicant, once the problem is addressed, analyzed, and solutions are put together, they file a regular permit application, and it comes before the commission. And in this case, there's little doubt in my mind, I'm not prejudging it, but there's little doubt in my mind that there'll be a public hearing on that application where people can be heard. I know to date, we've received a couple of letters which are in the file. Because it's not a public hearing, I'm not going to read those into the record, but they are in the town's file. I do know that Deep is now involved, so they're going to probably have a lot to say. And your attorney's a well-known land use attorney. She was an attorney general for Deep, so she knows the regulations. She also knows the violations that you've committed. I mean, I think, Mr. Real, I just am imploring you, don't do anything else on that site. Because, what you presented to us is you created the problem by violating the regulations and violating the permit application that you were given. And then you come back to us and say, well, I'm solving the problem by putting a concrete structure in, which it hasn't been engineered. I don't know what this commission would have done if that were on the original permit application. I suspect we would looked at it very closely, but that's not the solution here. And now, the town has got to go out, we have limited resources. The town has got to go out and bring Deep into it. And, they're the experts. They may take a completely different view of this. I mean, that's just, I'm just saying that so you understand it.
Right.
Please don't do anything else on the site.
There is nothing more I could do to mitigate the water, and I understand, but I just didn't want you guys to think that it was done haphazardly to where it wasn't for erosion control. It is clearly, that was what it was for, nothing else.
So I'm sure your lawyer will work with the town attorney and with Kate primarily, and the DEP. So, before the commission is a second enforcement order, because there was activity after the first. It's, we've done a lot of these. This is a pretty, comprehensive one. Again, the order is if the commission chooses to uphold it tonight, that all activities within 200 feet of a watercourse will cease, except for erosion control, which needs to be done through Kate. We need the site plan, we need the wetland boundaries, we need a timeline for the professionals doing the work, and we need a soil scientist, which you said you've already retained. And quite frankly, the order provides that all structures and materials shall be removed and the site shall be restored to its pre-existing conditions. We have the ability under the statutes to do that. Now, I think, that's the proposed order, together with the fact that the town of Granby has asked that we put into the order that $3,000 be deposited with the town to cover our engineering cost. So, your lawyer's going to have to address that as well, but that's in the proposed order. So it's a serious matter, and we want you to take it seriously. You've retained an attorney who's very competent in this area. We look forward to hearing her input. So I dare to say, once DEP gets involved, they're going to be giving us a lot of input. We are just an arm of DEP. We just enforce their regulations on their behalf. When they come in, they become, they're the big dog in the room. They're going to be working with Kate. So they may tell you to restore it this way or that way. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with the concrete structure. That's to be seen. But for right now, you need to stop activities on that site.
There's nothing more that I feel that we can do erosion control method-wise, unless we had a problem. And I would let Kate know, obviously.
Thank you. Kate, do you have anything else?
No, I'm very happy to hear that everything's moving in the right direction. I think we can come to a proper resolution. We got, Matt, I'm very excited that you've built a really good team to work with you on this and to resolve the enforcement order and potentially go after any permits for things you want to keep. So I look forward to the December meeting. December 3rd is when we're requesting the information be submitted by. That gives us some time to review and look at things. So if there is any issues with that date, if folks could just get in touch with the office and kind of let everybody know what's happening. So if it's not December 3rd, it's December 6th that everybody can pull everything together. Just keep close communication with Renee and Abby on that and myself so that we know when things are coming in. And if, unforeseen things come up, just let us know. Just stay in close communication if you could.
Okay, will do.
So
Thank you.
the commission has to, you've heard from the applicant, you've heard from staff, you've seen the pictures in the record. The commission has to vote to either uphold or not uphold the November 5th, 2025, which is the second enforcement order. The first one is still in effect. So we need a vote of the commission whether to uphold the November 5th, 2025 order that I just briefly described for the record.
I make a motion to uphold the second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks. So you've got your work cut out for you. We'll see you at the next meeting. Thank you, sir. All right, moving right along to 5A, to 5 agent reports, correspondence, 215 Salmon Brook Street, Town of Granby, Kirk Severance, I don't see him here. RFR to dredge the pond at Salmon Brook Park. It's a non-regulated use determination on 10/29/25. What's going on with that, Kate?
So essentially, it's this time of year to go in and get the sediment out of the pond because the sediment is getting pretty full in terms of swimming. So if we remember other activities that are around this pond, it's an isolated pond within alluvial soils, even though they are mapped as eudorphins around the pond, meaning they're disturbed soils that are directly around the pond. Because it's saturated soil, it's something that does require a permit. So a permit was issued for this, and what's going to be happening is the companies coming, they may have already come in. I know they're doing it pretty quickly, definitely before Thanksgiving. And what they're going to do is they're going to dredge out, like have a mini barge, I believe, out there. And then they're going to be dredging out the sediment that's accumulated in the pond. They're going to be leaving the natural substrate that's below, and then putting that in bags, like real big bags that are going to be up on the shore. And those bags are going to sit up on the shore till probably next spring, maybe even a little bit into the spring, into the summer. And once the materials inside the bags are dry, they cut open the bag, remove the bag, the material gets deposited in an approved location, and the pond is much more swimmable again. So it's pretty straightforward. And it's an area that's continuously disturbed that needs not annual, but frequent maintenance.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, Kate, if it's okay with you, I'd like to address the next three items together because they're all kind of connected in terms of what you did. 46 Lakeside Drive, 52 Lakeside Drive, 54 Lakeside Drive. So out of the clear blue sky, I was contacted by Maximum Tree Service explaining that he had been retained by these three landowners, suggested that he get in contact with the president of the Manitouk Lake Association and the town, which he did, and that's how Kate came to be involved. So why don't you tell us about those?
So this was pretty straightforward. They had to bring in a crane to take these trees out. And the story is the same, where you have some old trees. A lot of these, I believe, were pine trees, and they were really close to houses. And Doug Max was really good to talk to the owners to let them know that they wanted to leave the stumps in place so that would maintain their slopes. Most of these trees are pretty far away from the wetland area. You can see them on the application. And did you put them on? There's a but anyways, pretty straightforward, no stump removal, no soil disturbance, taking the trees out next to Manitouk Lake, and I don't know, I don't want to say no big deal, but kind of a big deal.
Okay. Well, they have big trees.
Yeah. But in terms of, maintaining and functioning values of the wetlands, I don't think we can get around having those trees removed.
Gotcha.
It's a danger.
Any commission members have any questions for Kate on those three?
No.
All right, 170 North Granby Road. That was the farm field that needed to
Yes.
have some erosion fixed. So what's going on there?
Correct. So that one there, it's been, looks really good out there. The mitigation measures have been done. When I talked to John Coward, the NRCS and their state, it'll be quite a while before we receive the conservation plan. So we're kind of waiting so that we can be part of that. But as the site stands now, it meets the RFR requirements. It's been restabilized. When the conservation plan comes in, we can discuss, taking a look at that with John. But essentially, before either you, John, or Sue leave the meeting tonight, if one of you could sign off on that, because it's in the wetland area, sign off on the RFR form, that would be great.
Okay, we'll sign that. I will. Sue's got to run shortly.
Sorry, I gotta run.
Yeah, you can run because we have a quorum and we're done with votes. So,
I gotta run, sorry.
thank you. Good luck.
It's just to say Sue already signed it.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
so I don't have to sign?
No.
Oh, perfect. Thanks, Renee.
Oh, I have a crisis, so adjourn with
Thank you.
It won't be the same, but good luck. Commissioner reports and correspondence. I don't have any correspondence. Do I have any correspondence, Renee?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Do you have any commissioner reports? Kate, no?
Sounds like a no.
Oh, sorry. No, not really. All I can say is that we're going to be going back out to, part of my plans for next week is to go back out to Station 280 and do another site check and make sure before the snow covers the ground that any kind of blowing debris has been picked up. And other than that, nothing else.
Great, thanks. Any commission members have any new business, anything to report? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None.